Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling, your ultimate destination for all things WWE. Whether you're a hardcore wrestling fanatic or just a casual viewer, we've got you covered with the latest news, in-depth show reviews, and our unfiltered opinions on everything happening in the world of professional wrestling. Get ready to step into the ring with us and stay on top of the wrestling world. This is Top Tier Wrestling. Welcome to Top Tier Wrestling. I'm your host, the excellence of elocution, Josh, and with me, as always, mistress of the Devil's Kiss, La Primera, Dawn. In this episode, we're breaking down WWE RAW. Let's get into it.
Oh. Well, all right.
Yep, and this episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw is brought to us from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, with Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett on commentary.
Yay, Wade Barrett and Joe Tessitore.
Tessa bore me. This episode, though, did not start out slow. They showed us a little bit of footage of the return of Roman Reigns last Monday, and they opened the show with Roman Reigns.
Look at who you came to see.
Oh, yeah. And Dallas absolutely erupts for their tribal chief. And Roman gives his full entrance, makes his way to the ring, and insists that Dallas, Texas, who has been doing nothing but acknowledges him.
And they acknowledge him some more.
And then a little bit extra. And immediately after Roman says that, the crowd's joy is shattered as we hear Big Bronson Reed's music start playing. Although the upside is that it was just Bronson Reed's music. It wasn't that combined music that he and Breaker have. I like Breaker and Reed. Don't get me wrong. I do. I like them as a tag team. I think both those men are incredibly talented. Their songs, however, do not merge worth a shit.
Oh, God, no. They're horrible together. Stop it. Get some help.
They should just absolutely both come out to War Ready. That song is a fucking banger.
It really is. Just putting those two together. Yeah. I don't know who thought of that. I don't know why they thought that was the hotness, but it sounds discombobulated. It sounds, it's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. In my opinion, Breaker's song was never like the hotness. Like I've not liked Breaker's theme really. It's not that good, but Reed's is great. Like I really like his is catchy, battle tested, war ready. It's fantastic. It's got a cool sound. It's very unique. But I agree wholeheartedly. Like it does not mix. Like if you just mash it together with Breakers and so I like that part. So they come out and there's some back and forth between Reed and Heyman and Roman, but the long and the short of it and the important takeaway from it is that Roman Reigns has been challenged by Big Bronson Reed to an Australian street fight, which I think is the same as any other street fight. It's just taking place in Australia. To which Roman accepts.
Jesus Christ.
And however, upon getting the acceptance of the match, Heyman and Reed start to leave, and Roman says, "Hold on, Dallas. They walked in like tough guys, but they seem to be walking out like a couple of bitches."
Bitches.
And that sets Big Bronson Reed off. So he power walks to the ring. No, he runs to the ring, and him and Roman start getting into a fight. And Roman ends up force feeding him a couple of Superman punches before security's out there. And the audience, of course, is like, let them fight. And WWE's like, no, not until the PLE.
No, you only get to see an ankle right now. You don't get to see the whole thigh. No
Yeah,
leg.
yeah. This is the tease, guys.
All right,
But
kneecap, and that's it.
yeah, it stops there. Roman feeds him a couple of Superman punches and even fights his way around security to attack Reed, and definitely gets the better of Reed in this exchange. Which, according to the pattern that's been established, typically means that the person who was on top at the last promo is going to lose in their inevitable matchup. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, that's that's like the pattern, or one of the patterns that I noticed. So I kinda feel like that might be the case, unless there's another altercation between the two before their match. And if that's the case, then if Bronson ends up on top, then that definitely ensures Roman's victory. However, you and I were talking earlier, and we both have seen that sometimes the pattern um does not match Roman's run. Like, there have been plenty of times where he's just been all up. And I mean, like, he spent like 2 years being nothing but up. And even after he lost the belt, or the belts or whatever, um, his his streak has always been like he can be up several matches in a row, or several interactions in a row. So him being down is kind of a rare thing. So I don't know. It could
Yeah,
be that he pulls out the victory anyway, because the last time we saw him, like, they technically, as far as the storyline in the show is concerned, he got beaten and hospitalized. So he's been
yep,
out in the hospital. So
and down.
he's been down, he's been down for a minute now. So when he comes back, it might just be all ups until the storyline dictates otherwise for Roman. And it would also be really interesting if he were to lose the match to Bronson, because he's right now, in many ways, it seems like he's mentoring Jay suddenly, um, and creating a mini Roman, as far as some wrestlers are concerned. I don't know about that, but he's giving him advice like smash them all, do what you got to do. The most important thing here is you. If you want to win the belt, or if you want to win the belt again, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. He's getting all this advice. So it'd be interesting if Roman, following his own advice, loses this match against Bronson. I would be interested to see what Jay would see there. Although this whole mentorship thing is kind of weird. I even think that Jay might be older than Roman in real life, like by 2 years, I think. But so that'd be kind of weird if they were doing that. But
Mm,
but also kind of, I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting as far as their roles are concerned, because there is definitely a singership, or so, you know what I'm trying to say.
there
Um,
is.
when it comes to Roman being in charge, I mean, the man had more belts than,
Right.
gosh, yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, age might not be what makes it mentorship. It might be the fact that Roman's been there. He's been to the top of the mountain. He's the champion that in the modern era, like, almost nobody's going to be able to touch with how long his reign was at the top.
Yeah.
So that's the basis, is experience, not necessarily age. He's the guy who could tell you how to be on top and stay on top if anybody could. Um, what makes this kind of intriguing for me, like, I agree that this might break the pattern, in the sense that Roman came back to Raw with only like 2 weeks of buildup to Crown Jewel. So
Yeah.
we had to see something other than Roman was put in the hospital. So that he might have to be up leading into it, because the last big storyline thing was that Roman was put in the hospital for several weeks by Big Bronson Reed. So The other thing that I feel like this promo kind of showed us is that kind of one-on-one, I think Roman's got Reed's number, but he agreed to a street fight, which is a no DQ match, which means that the entirety of the Vision could be involved here and probably will be, and it won't get the match thrown out, and Roman could just end up getting a beat down, by the numbers. So, he might need to leverage, that big deep bloodline to kind of offset the odds. Yeah. Otherwise, it's Roman on the receiving end of what the bloodline did to keep him on top for so many years. And maybe that's the lesson, is Roman's got to figure out that a big part of the reason he was the top guy is because he had many other guys willing to go to battle for him. Him by himself or him against another whole stable is a different story. Even though he is an unparalleled competitor in singles competition, the numbers game will catch up with just about anyone. And then turning my attention briefly to what you were saying about, like, with Jay, is I think what makes this interesting is that we're waiting to see if Roman has learned anything about what the cost of his completely ruthless pursuit of ambition might be, which is that it made him a selfish prick that nobody liked being around, even his family. And I think that's what Jimmy is coming at it from, is that, like, he doesn't want to see Jay turn into a prick just to get a belt around his waist like that happened with Roman.
Yeah.
But what Roman, I think, is counterpointing is that that's exactly who Jay's going to have to be if he wants that belt, and he's got to choose.
Yeah.
So very interesting developments here with Roman and Jay and Jimmy. And I'm curious to see where it ends up going, and what lesson they end up deciding prevails in this story arc.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested myself. And Roman gives some advice later on, but we'll talk about that. He gives some advice later on in the show that made me think maybe he's learned something, but I don't know. I really don't know. Interested to see, though.
Yeah. Because there's several lessons that could be learned. Like we're waiting to see if Roman can figure out what it really cost him to be the champion, and then decide if he thinks that's worth it. And that's the lesson I think he's trying to get across about Jay, is to, this idea that if you want to be the champ, then this has to be all that matters, and you have to be willing to do anything and sacrifice anything along the way. And, I think he's excited to see in Jay that same discovery. And, now Jay is taking, advice from Roman, but he's doing so not from a place of an outsider, but as someone who's been to the top of the mountain and understands what is required to go there. Yeah. And he wants it, So it's not Roman inflicting it on Jay. Jay is there with him now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tension, is that Jay, well, I mean, it'll get said later for sure, so we'll cover it then. Mm-hmm. But moving on from that fantastic opening promo, I mean, just starting off with Roman Reigns got the crowd super popping.
Yeah.
We end up with a recap of the Kabuki Warriors turning their back on Io Sky, and that they ended up making a match with the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Ripley and Io at Crown Jewel. And then from there, we see Asuka, like, just super in Adam Pearce's face, like hitting him with all of the super rolling R's of angry Japanese, telling him, it's fine that we have this match at Crown Jewel, but tonight she wants a match with Kairi versus Io. And Pierce is like, well, hold on, let me see. I've got to find space on the show. And of course he says, he'll talk to Io, and if Io wants the match, then he can make it official, but he says he's going to need a drink, and then he leaves. And then Asuka is walked up upon by Kairi Sane, who wants to know what's going on, and she finds out that she's got a match, and Kairi's like, no, wait, I don't want to fight Io because I think I can bring her back to the family. And Asuka just straight slaps the taste out of Kairi's mouth and says that Io is not family. And Kairi, who's sitting there holding what's left of her face in her hands, says that she understands. And Asuka just turns super creepy, abusive, like, I don't know, abusive BDSM boyfriend, and she's saying, good girl, and you better win.
Yeah, for real. Seriously. And I'm like, man, Asuka has been waiting her entire life for this. Like, seriously, she looks in the mirror and she's like, oh, it's my moment. It is my moment.
Yep. Asuka, the villain, is really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. And that leads us into our first match, which is Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. And they kind of do a recap of how this match came to be, which is an altercation that they had in the back where Becky attacks both Maxine and what's his name?
Akira Tozawa.
Thank you, Tozawa. And then so the match was called then, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not super excited about the match. More because of Becky. I'm so sorry, Becky. I love you, but right now, okay, like I don't even like this belt run that you got. I don't even think you should have the belt, but that's just me. But this match turned out to be an awesome fucking match.
Yeah, a surprisingly good one, because I'm with you. I came into it thinking they're just going to run it back and squash Dupree again, right?
Yeah. Which I'm just like listen, I'm not here for. Like you hired this woman to be a wrestler, so she's got to be good, right? You guys keep squashing her. I'm not here for that.
Yep.
But yeah, but actually, this match ended up being amazing. Like Maxine was extremely impressive. And I'm saying that she was or that she was impressive because, or I'm calling the match amazing because she was impressive. She was the star of the channel for this match. Becky does what Becky always does, which is in this particular case, she had to do a lot of jobbing, and she did a fantastic job at that. She sold Maxine Dupree's moves very well. Like she does, she's a very good supporting wrestler. She's also really good when it's her time to shine as well. But when it comes to supporting, like selling her opponent's moves, jobbing or whatever, taking the bumps, I think Becky does a great job of doing that. And so she did this very well in this match. Or she did that very well in this match. But Maxine, she's even looking like Maxine has always been, I think, very, very beautiful. I think she's a knockout, but she's always been kind of thin, which that's fine. I'm not trying to body shame or anything, but I'm saying that now she's looking much more defined. She's looking muscular.
Jacked.
She's looking strong, jacked. Yeah, she's looking extremely capable in the ring. So she went. Her goofy warrior face is it's amusing, and I love it. But like, yeah, she did amazing in this match.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. This was an excellent showing for Maxine. She ended up taking Lynch to the limit. Like, we had one of the closest near falls. Like like the ref's hand hit the mat, but she retracted that was a 3 count. She just couldn't pull it back fast enough.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. Maxine's training is apparent, both in her physical presentation, like everything you said, but like her abs are popping. There's definition more in her legs between like her quad and her hamstrings.
Yeah.
Her gun show is popping. Her shoulders and her biceps and triceps are really showing out. Go ahead.
One more amazing thing about Becky is her kickouts. Her timing for her kickouts. Oh my god, they're so good.
Yeah.
Like especially in this match, they were so good. Like it was both of them did really good of like waiting to that very last minute, so it was very believable. Um, but that kick out that Becky did, where even the audience was like, "Oh!" like
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
so close. The one that you're talking about, where the ref like almost slammed her hand down. Like I was like, Becky, that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Becky, you're making me make diamonds in here. Like
Yeah.
that was very close, man.
Yeah, and that's why I think
Beautiful
this was a
timing.
fantastic match. Is Maxine's training in her in-ring work is clearly paying off, because not only did she perform well with some great counter wrestling and showing off a pretty solid variety of in-ring offense.
Oh god, some of her counters. Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like her and Becky must have been working very, very closely together. That's the only thing that I could assume, because they were so good together. I could watch
They
that
really
again.
did well. Yeah, and they sold us on this idea. It was such a good performance that, like, we were sitting there going, "Oh shit, is Dupree going to win the belt off of her tonight?"
Yeah.
Now, just to sort of, go into how the match ended up ending. It was a really surprisingly good match. This feels to me like Becky Lynch is taking a note of how Sami Zayn is using his US title run.
Yeah, yeah.
And putting over the mid-card talent. Even if they don't win, they still put on a badass match. And
Yeah.
that's exactly kind of what happened here. Um, Dupree gave as good as she got and took Lynch to the limit, making it look like she was on the verge of winning. But Lynch ends up, kind of getting, the one up on her for a while, where she's outside the ring and just sort of slamming Dupree's face into anything that is face slam worthy. The stairs, the prime, setup display, whatever,
Yeah.
and the announce table. And, there was a point where she got back into the ring to break the count and just got all into the referee's face. And forgive me, I can't remember this particular female ref's name,
Yeah.
but there was a point where she shoved Becky off of her because Becky had her pinned into the corner with both hands on the ropes. So she was literally being kind of restrained, and she was sick of it, and so she was sick of Lynch's shit. So as we head into the closing moments of this match, Becky's just dribbling Dupree's face off the announce table, and Dupree's just like crumpling. And so she's on the floor, and Becky hops up on the announce table and starts posturing. Well, Dupree gets up and slowly crawls back into the ring at like the 7 count, and the ref sees this, and then it goes 8, 9, 10, like really fast. And so Maxine Dupree ends up getting a count out victory over Becky Lynch because Lynch pissed the ref off.
Made me happy.
It was amazing. It was a fantastic way to put Maxine over without it costing Becky Lynch the belt. It was really good. And this is on the end of a fantastic match. Like, this is probably the best showing of Maxine Dupree and her in-ring work that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so we were just super pleasantly surprised and tickled pink at this outcome, because naturally Becky Lynch is like incredulous followed by livid at this turn of events, while Maxine Dupree is like skipping back up the the entrance ramp, just joyful that she got a win on Becky Lynch and that it's going into the record books. And Lynch was livid. It was fantastic.
Not happy at all, to say the least.
Yeah, so that just made for a truly excellent first match of the night. and a really good way for Becky Lynch to finally, use the mid card belt for what the mid card belt is for. And so, if she wants to take note of how Sami Zayn's been defending the past 2-3 weeks with his open challenges, I'm here for it, because we have complained mightily that these mid card belts aren't really doing what a mid card belt is supposed to do, and particularly pointing at Becky Lynch's run with it. You had said earlier, you don't think she should be the champion. I imagine it's because you think Lyra Valkyria would make much more sense, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
But if that's not the direction they're going, at least not yet, then I'm happy that she is actually using it to the benefit of the mid card.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So following that match, we see Roman Reigns running into the Usos in the backstage area. And Jimmy and Jay are both like talking about how, Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman were tripping. And Jimmy goes on to say, hey, we got your back at Crown Jewel, because they saw that the match was made. And Jay specifically is like, no, I got your back. I got your back.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's like, okay, making like crazy face at him, like, what's wrong with we got his back?
Yeah.
But Roman goes on to say that he's good. He doesn't need any help. So it's like, and he goes on to say, especially and particularly from Jay. And he says, we've already talked about this. You should be hyper focused on what you're doing. And then he says, as a matter of fact, who's speaking at the top of the hour? And Jay says, I think it's CM Punk. And Roman's like, oh, not you. And Jay turns and angrily goes, yeet, and walks off. And then Roman says to Jimmy that he sees and hears everything. And so what's the problem with Jay taking Roman's advice? And that catches Jimmy off guard, leaving him a bit speechless. And after that, we are taken to a different place backstage, where Bayley is talking to Lyra Valkyria, and she wants to be in Lyra's corner tonight. And she's saying, there's a future WrestleMania in the making. And Lyra's like, well, how are you feeling? Because she's very skeptical, because Bayley has been like the most bipolar individual in the world. 1 minute like practically hugging the life out of Lyra, and the next minute slapping her. And Bayley says she's feeling good. And Lyra says, well, I'm surprised that you showed up here last second, but Raquel Rodriguez is going to be out there. So, yeah, I could use all the help I could get. And they then practice some handshake that they really, really need to practice more, because it did not go well. No. Continue practicing. Further practice required. But then they head through gorilla position to immediately start Lyra Valkyria's entrance. In what brings us to our second match, which is Lyra Valkyria with, as we've just learned, Bayley versus Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day. And what were your thoughts on this match?
I knew like if we're gonna follow how the time works, or how the rules work, I knew that Lyra most likely would not win this match, because we don't want to bury Roxy. But how we got there, I was wondering, or I was curious about how we were gonna get there. And it was pretty clever. Like this overall was a comparable match. This was more about storytelling, I think, than it was about the moves in the match, although there were some decent moves. I mean, it wasn't like full of flubbery or whatever. But I think the real, for me, the real story here was whether or not, because I kept wondering if Bayley was gonna lose her shit, or flip at any particular time. Because because Lyra's already getting the business, and she's got to deal with not only Roxy in the ring, but she's got to deal with Raquel on the outside of the ring. All we need now is for Bayley to just go sit and start attacking her for some crazy shit too. Like that's all we need. Thankfully, that did not happen. Uh, Bayley was very adamant, however, about keeping Raquel busy, and sometimes even giving Perez the business if she could. I don't think there was any particular time where she got into the actual match until towards the end, right? Because I think for the most part she was just very loudly and adamantly cheering for Lyra, but then there was a point where she helped Lyra with something, directly putting herself in the match. And I think at that point, Raquel had enough of that shit and and stopped it. But I don't think that she intervened much in the match, but she was very loudly cheering and doing her best to make sure that Lyra won. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. But the cool thing is that after that, like Lara was in the in the ring, just like I guess licking her wound, and Bailey was like, "Nah, cool story, bro. Get the fuck up. We're getting out of this ring, and we're gonna go beat them up. We're gonna go kick their ass." And
like vigorously.
yeah, like she was like basically like woman handling like Lyra. Like Lyra's
Valkyria.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, Lyra's like, okay, we're going there. Like she's holding her arm and like she's kind of banged up. And Bailey's like, cool story, bro. Put a band-aid on it, let's go. We're about to go kick their fucking asses. Like she meant that. So then they're storming down the runway, or the runway, Jesus Christ. They're leaving down the entrance ramp, uh and Bailey is still talking about kicking some ass, um and that's where that was left until later. So, but overall I thought this was a pretty good match, pretty fun, great storytelling, and again, amazing things are happening right now with Raquel Rodriguez. And I'm happy that I'm alive to see it. I'm happy that I am watching wrestling in this time, that I get to see Raquel Rodriguez shine bright like a diamond. She's becoming one of my favoriteest female wrestlers. I know she didn't have a match. I don't care. I'm still fangirling over Raquel Rodriguez. That's all.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. Um, Taking this match into consideration, I agree with you. This was about advancing the story between Valkyria and Bailey, but they did give us a solid match, and there was a little bit of interference. Not anything too bad. I think Raquel at one point initiated, as they always do, by jumping up on the apron at one point to distract the ref, which allowed Perez to strike Valkyria from behind. But then that's almost counteracted by later. Perez sets up Valkyria on the top rope to go, I think maybe for like an avalanche side Russian leg sweep, but Bailey grabs hold of Valkyria's hand and the ref doesn't see it, so Perez gets knocked to the ground by herself, which allows Valkyria to hit like a moonsault. So there was interference, but it didn't really favor one side or the other too much. So it almost negates itself into a straight match. And later, I want to say, Bailey ends up taking a hit. No, yeah, outside the ring, Bailey catches a big boot from Rodriguez, and then that causes Valkyria to kind of turn her attention to Raquel and do a wrecking ball drop kick outside the ring. But that opens up the closing, sort of finishing sequence where Perez then follows that by diving out suicide dive style onto Valkyria and turning it into a tornado DDT on the floor, whereupon she picks up Valkyria, throws her back in the ring, and just drills her with pop rocks to straight beat her. which unburies Perez, because the last encounter made it look like Valkyria has Perez's number all day. This made it look like it's actually more even than we thought.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a pretty solid match, and the interference was mild enough and from both sides enough that I remove it as a factor from how the match ended up finishing, honestly. So yeah, another solid match, and we're firing all cylinders, and so far it's the ladies leading the way. First match, Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree. Second match, Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne Perez. So it's a pretty solid episode so far.
Yeah.
Following that match, we are taken to Jackie Redmond, who is interviewing AJ Styles, and he's talking a bit about how he's preparing for his final showdown with John Cena, because she asks, what are you preparing for? And he starts to talk when the Judgment Day shows up, and immediately it's all three of the male members. It's Dom and Finn and JD, and they all walk up, and Dom is saying something like, is your prep strategy going to be to go back to the retirement home? Stuff like that, just talking about aging AJ.
Uncle AJ.
Yeah, Uncle AJ. And he's all like, what makes you think you have a chance against Cena when you couldn't beat me? Hell, Rusev couldn't beat me. I'm still the double champ, and AJ's the zero champ. And that's when Finn chimes in and says, hey, I'm hearing that you and Dragon Lee want to challenge us for the tag team championship, and that would be a terrible mistake. And AJ then says, well, that kind of sounds like a threat, and it's easy to threaten somebody when it's, 3-on-1? So how about me and Dragon find us another partner, and we see you later in a 6-man tag match? And Dom says the Judgment Day is going to take care of business like they always do. And that eventually leads to AJ and Dragon asking Penta if he'd like to get his hands on Dominic Mysterio and be their tag team partner for the night. And that's where that segment leaves it, although we do end up finding out that that match has been made official.
Yeah. We didn't get an answer at that particular time because the cameraman was interrupted. Or the interview, everything was interrupted by the fact that there were some loud noises and bangs and crashes off camera that made everybody go, oh shit. And when we turn around and look, well, we see Bailey and Lyra being absolute thugs in the backstage, beating up the girls from Judgment Day, Roxy and Raquel. And I mean, they were taking it
they were
to him.
Wailing on them.
Yeah, it wasn't like, slapping. Hi, yeah. No. They were out there ganging on these two. Like, they were just stomping and, I mean, I was like, okay, well, fuck yeah, that's what we're talking about. Lyra's out here whipping ass. Bailey's out here whipping ass and screaming. It was fantastic. And then, of course, people came to ruin everybody's fun and break it up. Adam Pearce is having the worst day possible as far as he's concerned. But he finally gets to yell. He finally got to yell at some women. Like he could not yell at Asuka. Guys, if you haven't seen it, you need to go see just that. But if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. My man was talking low and tempered, and we will see what we can do. Like my man.
And Asuka was like, you make it happen or I kill you.
Seriously. And all like Asuka, like she's just, and he's like, yes, absolutely. We will see what can be done tonight. Yeah. My man was calm about it. He's like, I need a drink. And she's like, I don't give a fuck about your drink. He's like, okay, all right.
Yep. But in this particular four lady brawl, he was not calm, and he was like, "I need a drink," and I'm like, "My dude, you might need the whole bar for that one. That was
Yeah,
a brawl. Those ladies were killing each other."
or you might need some help. You might have an addiction problem, Pierce,
He's
and
gonna
you
need an AA meeting.
like yeah, you might need an AA meeting, my man. You might need step 1. You know what I mean? Of 12 possible steps to your fucking recovery because you own one and you drink a lot. I'm just saying, and you know you already screaming at women. You drink a lot. All we missing is the wife beater. I know you have one or two. I know.
It's
I'm
under
on to
the
you.
suit for sure.
Oh, bleh. It probably is. Bleh. Gross. Anyway. Gross, Adam. Bleh. Anyway, after that brawl, which was just almost better
Oh,
than the damn match we had seen,
yeah.
uh, we get to CM Punk. You know his music cuts, but we get to the CM Punk, LA Knight, and Jay Uso segment, which starts with CM Punk coming down the ring to his music, of course. The best part about CM Punk, no, you know what? Hold on. I have to say something. I don't know if it's his old age. I don't know if it's um the fact that he is starting to feel shit in his knees. I don't know. But he has been on a pretty good path since returning to WWE. He's still not my favorite wrestler. He's still not my favorite human being, but I can give him his props. Uh because they are well deserved in this particular situation. CM Punk has been pretty banging, and like even this like tonight, you know, for this show, he was pretty much on it, man. He was sharp, he was funny. He actually made me laugh several times.
And he
But I've
tricked
never,
you. He tricked you into singing the song.
yeah, and he made me sing the damn song. Um, God, deep in the heart of Texas,
No,
fish
that's a
shaking.
blessed. The song is blessed. It's that CM Punk made us almost sing it. He made me almost sing it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
made you
"No."
almost. Yeah. He resisted. I even
Yeah,
heard him cross his arms. He
we're we're
absolutely resisted.
we're both Texans, so we respond to the stars at night are big and bright. We almost have to finish it, but I was
Oh shit!
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly, and so we were like, "Damn you, Punk! You almost got me."
Yeah, no, there was arm crossing and fish shaking. But you know, I have already drank the CM Punk Kool-Aid apparently because I randomly sometimes join in with the it's clobbering time. So it is what it is. You know, and I don't feel bad about that because I've said before, if if you are I'm a mark, man. Just I want to cheer for a wrestler. Give me
Yeah,
something to cheer for. You're doing stuff that I could never do in the ring. You're putting your bodies, your health, your sometimes your mental health on the line to entertain people. Like what's not to love about this? You guys do amazing things. So if you give me something, anything, I'm gonna drink that Kool-Aid and be like, yeah. So that's fine. It's cool. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. Don't make me like you even a little bit and then crush my hopes and dreams. Honk. But anyway, the segment opens and he comes out, CM Punk, and he does the fucking song, the deep in the heart of Texas. Um and he's basically coming out there to say what he's been saying. Uh which is he deserves his title shot. And he's not saying that no one he's not saying that no one else deserves it, but he's saying that his time is now. Okay, you can, but you can see him. All right, but his time is now. Um. Meanwhile, LA Knight comes out. Excuse
yeah,
me. Yeah. Uh, and he wants to talk to you. All right. And he walks up. Now I'm not gonna go verbatim on what they said, but LA Knight walks up to CM Punk and he says, "Look in my eyes. What do you see? And CM Punk says, without missing a beat, somebody who interrupted me. And I was so delighted.
Yep. Yeah, no, Punk got LA Knight a couple of times in this promo between the two of them. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And it was really, really good. Like the interaction between those two. I'm sorry, I had to drink some water. There was a time where I at first LA Punk LA Knight.
LA Punk. Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah. LA Knight pointed out that lately, even though CM Punk is usually known for the guy who dropped the pipe bomb, he's also been known for being a husband as of late. And CM Punk thought that was, like a knock. Like, is that supposed to be an insult? And I actually thought the same thing. I was like, where are we going with this, LA? But he's like, no. He's not. That's not an insult at all. As a matter of fact, what I want to say about that is everybody out here wants love. All you need is that bullshit. And he basically said that so it's good. It's great that he's a good husband, but he's a trash champion. He said all that to get to the part that he's a trash champion. And he goes down the list. But he mentioned that CM Punk had been pinned or beaten by Seth Rollins multiple times.
Yep, SummerSlam and Clash at Paris.
Yeah, and he said, "You know whose shoulders Seth Rollins has never, not ever pinned?" And CM Punk responds with, "I imagine it's the same guy that's never, not ever been world champion, right?"
Sick bird.
Sick bird.
He pressed the reset button on LA Knight because LA Knight almost laughed at it. It was a good line. So LA Knight had to stop for a moment and get recomposed.
But he did, and he finally got to his point, which is he's also the guy that's never been pinned by Seth Rollins, and he was damn sure to be the next one that would be world champion. But then Jey Uso's music cuts.
Uso!
And Jey Uso comes out. He tells him, "I'm gonna stop it right here. I'm gonna stop it right there." At plain and simple, he's up for the World Heavyweight Championship, and he does and the whole audience goes yeet. And we get back to LA Knight, who does his rebuttal to Jay by essentially calling him a mini Roman Reigns. And eventually Jimmy comes out, and LA Knight is like, "I don't have a problem with you, Jimmy." Like, I think LA Knight starts to feel the heat when when Jimmy and Jay were both out there, because I mean, he's grossly outnumbered at this point. But aside from that, him and Jimmy are pretty tight. So he did have to make sure that Jimmy knew that he wasn't talking smack necessarily about the tag team, but he is dealing with Jay, who is constantly in his face, and he's not wrong about that. Essentially though, things heat up, and Jay wants to super kick LA Knight, but Jimmy keeps preventing him from doing it. He keeps stopping him. Excuse me. He keeps stopping him until wait, no. He's not trying to super kick LA Knight. He's trying to super kick CM Punk, right?
The way it ends up playing out was LA Knight is talking mad trash, and you mentioned Jay super kicks Knight, right?
Mm-hmm. He does.
And then after that, Punk is all like, "Well, I assume we're good, right?" And then I think Punk throws a jab at Jay verbally, and that makes Jay want to get in Punk's face, and then Jimmy starts playing Peacekeeper.
That's right. Yeah. Jimmy keeps preventing Jay from getting into it with CM Punk, and he's trying to keep Jay calm. Uh, but then Punk drops Jay with the straight hand. Like he just I think he moves Jimmy out of the way and just decks uh Jay. And then I guess he thought that that would be something he'd be like that Jay would be cool with. But bruh, so Jimmy has been standing there preventing Jay from just needlessly attacking you, and you
Yeah.
take the advantage of that by moving Jay out of the way and sucker punching. I'm sorry, yeah, moving Jimmy out of the way and then sucker punching his brother, and you
Yep.
don't expect retaliation. I don't think so. So yeah, as soon as he
Yeah.
does that, he moves essentially Jimmy behind him, and Jimmy just waits for him to turn around and super kicks him right in the fucking face because yeah, he was trying to
Yeah.
prevent it. You sucker punched his brother, so now yes, you're gonna get kicked in the face.
Right. And Punk's response, for the reason I think he went for that is that there was a point where Jay attempted a super kick and
Yeah.
Jimmy grabbed him and just stopped it from happening. But since Punk saw that, that's why Punk stepped in and hit him with a right hand.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not saying that he couldn't do it. You do you, but there are repercussions, and I think that the response was warranted. The answer to your attack, I feel, was justified.
Yep.
Cause and effect, But that whole segment was highly entertaining. And CM Punk in general was a delight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody did fantastic. I'm loving where Jay is going, this personality shift that we have. Uh this is, I feel, the exact response that I would expect from someone like Jay, who had the championship, lost the championship, and now is dealing with that, and then listening to what people have to say about his championship run. I think this is a really good response to that type of bullshit. They cannot get
Yep.
rid of the Yeet. What he has done, he's made that too big. So even if they want to make him serious, I'm sorry. Yeet is too huge. It's bigger than
I mean,
Jim and Jay at this point.
I immediately wanted the new shirt he was wearing that says "Yeetin' ain't easy." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's so good." So
yeah,
yeah,
Yeet.
the
Yeah,
yeet is transcendent at this point.
that's here to stay. So and they're working with it the best they can, and I'm here for it. But yeah, that was a really really good little segment there. Normally I'm like, oh, can we get back to the wrestling? But no, that was
No,
good.
Knight and Punk were like clever on the mic, and Jay wasn't there to take any crap off anybody. He was ready to throw feet and hands. And
Yeah,
then it really sets the stage for what they say again later. And I think Jimmy behaved exactly as he should. While he was
yeah,
trying to not create smoke where there need not be any, and Jay was like ready to just start throwing hands, when push came to shove, or rather right hand came to his brother's head, Jimmy's
yeah,
response was crystal clear. Punk ate a foot hard. Um so, I mean, no one would look at that and wonder if Jimmy is loyal to his family. Jimmy was just trying to not, he was trying to de-escalate, and
yeah,
Punk overplayed his hand and ate a super kick. Yum, 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 yum.
yeah. But everybody played their part exceptionally well. This was a really good segment.
Yeah. And it was nice to see Don't get me wrong. I like Seth and I like the Vision, and I like that they were starting to make this Vision and Seth a little too separate, and then they got back to doing that better. And then after a bit, we were like, is every main event on every show going to be the Vision? And so this was good that this segment was revolving around like all of the people that are currently chasing Seth, not just, Seth and the Vision, but, his opponents and all of what's going on with them. It was very refreshing to see. And I mean, it necessarily keeps Seth Rollins relevant because he's the prize. He's the target.
Yeah.
But it was a really good showing of this, this kind of struggle between the men that are chasing after his title, and it was fantastic. It was well done.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, following that, we get an Io Sky promo, and she is saying that what has happened to destroy their family, Asuka, is on you. It's not Rhea's fault. You're the one that broke my heart. I've always credited you with my career and have looked up to you like a big sister. But that basically all went out the window when you assumed that the only reason I became champ was because of you. You are a reason, but you're not the only reason. And the heaping amounts of disrespect means that we're not a family anymore. And at Crown Jewel, Asuka, you'll find out that you're not ready for EO. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
And that leads us into the very relevant third match of the night, which is Io Sky versus Kairi Sane with a very angry and upsetty spaghetti Asuka in her corner.
Yeah. And yeah, this is another storytelling match. And the women still, this is the third match of the night, and it's been all women. And it's been really fucking good. It's a great
really
flex,
good.
WWE.
Yeah, yep.
This is the kind of flex that I would like WWE to do. Not stealing time and attention from other wrestling promotions that aren't competition. You know what I mean? Like this is a better use of their focus.
Yep. Focus on being a better WWE, not trying to take down anybody else in the industry.
Yeah, we don't need two AEWs. We don't need two WWEs. We already have one of each. We're cool. And both promotions offer something different, and I like them both, for different reasons. So this is one of the reasons why I love WWE. Their women's division is
the best in the industry.
Yeah, bar none, the best. And this show really proved that. This third match here, another storytelling heavy match. And I came in believing that Io Sky would whoop the snot out of Kairi Sane, but there's also something very interesting and awesome about Kairi Sane. You always think, like you always count her out. I don't know what it is. Like you always count her out, but she holds her own, and she did in this match. She holds her own very well. I thought, listen, I mean, it's no contest, right? Io Sky versus Kairi Sane. She's gonna wipe the floor with this girl. She doesn't. Of course, Asuka's there, and Asuka's being Asuka. Asuka going Asuka. But Io and Kairi, I think, did really good versus each other, without much outside interference. Excuse me. And Kairi looked more than comparable here on many occasions. There's plenty of time where I thought she was going to get the upper hand just because, and not necessarily because Asuka has done anything to throw her an assist. Ultimately, the match does end with Kairi winning, but that's with the interaction or interference of Asuka, who gets gets the one up on Io whenever she could. I don't think she did any of the black mist or anything to the face, but she does, I think, attack, um like, she attacks Io at one point. And I'm trying to remember when exactly the attack happens, but I know after that she does this, like, she attacks, or did she attack her before or after? I know she ran interference
Asuka
at one point.
Asuka, for the most part, did not interfere in the match that much. She did with the finish, and if she attacked her outside, it might have happened during a commercial break when we found out like a very sick move occurred. But if you recall, the
Oh,
opening
right.
of the match, Io Sky charges and like suicide dives on
That's
Asuka
right.
to open
Yes.
the match. So,
Yeah, she
and
did.
and so I
I know
don't
that
know
she
if Asuka really interfered a whole lot except on the extra leverage to the pin at the end.
well, I know that she does something where she ends up running. It's like she tries to run interference, and then she ends up giving, like she ends up clubbing Asuka in the back after that. And then when she did that, that's when Sane attacked Io again from behind. And then after she did that, when she's making the pin, Asuka, holds her hands, holds Kairi's hands for more leverage. So she ends up winning the match. So there wasn't a lot of interference. You're right. Like, she didn't like get in the ring or nothing, or hit Io, but it was enough to give Kairi the win. But
Yep.
even that tells you that Kairi held her own very well in this match against
Oh,
Io.
absolutely. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so I was surprised at how well she held her own. But then, of course, after the match, uh, Io had her back turned. I think she's on her knees. Excuse me. She had her back turned to Asuka, who gets into the ring and immediately goes in on the attack. Um, and they beat the snow out of her. I think Sane gave Io the spinning back fist, and then when Asuka was holding Io, um, Kairi goes up to the top rope and gives her the insane elbow. So, and
Yep.
then they, woo! You did not have to wonder where Asuka was in the ring at all. Even when the camera
Ever.
wasn't on her, you knew, depending on where you heard that woo, she was either to the right or left of said cameraman. You knew. But yeah, no, that was another great match. The ladies gave us amazing storytelling, and Asuka looks insane and dominating and uh possessive as ever. Great work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I fully agree. It was a really good match between these two. And I think one of the things they were heavily emphasizing because they were countering each other a lot at the beginning of the match. And that was to emphasize that these two women have fought side by side with each other for a long time. They know each other very well. There was a point where they both went for drop kicks. They know each other so well. And so they both
Yeah.
just sort of drop kick each other's feet and then hop back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree that this storyline is developing in a very interesting way, and a big part of it is everybody's really doing their part. Like Kyrie is really playing up the like the person in the group that really, really wants things to go back to the way they were. And, she's also the beleaguered and abused minion of Asuka. And Asuka is absolutely playing up, like you said, this was the role she was born to play. She's
Yeah.
playing up the, oh, I care about you as long as you're being a good girl, kind of like abuser. And it is chef's kiss. Like they're
Yeah.
killing it. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I'm here for it. Love it. Now, did you have anything else you want to add
No,
about
no,
that?
that was
Okay.
it. I mean, this is the most of the show carried on the backs of the women, and they are
Yeah.
doing an admirable job. And each of these three matches to so far have been really solid. Good storytelling, good matches. None of them feel like a match that only existed for the storytelling. They were all good matches.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. After which, we ended up watching the history of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins Part 2, which was the Allies portion of their story. You guys know exactly what was happening there. They pretty much talked about them coming together and, you know, doing what they do as ally. I like listen, guys. It's just basically back history for all the matches and storylines leading up to this match between Cody and Seth. And to be perfectly honest, they don't have to do much more of this. Like I get it. I want to see it. I remember the heat that they had like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm here for the match. Seth has to win. We know that. I thought I said the same thing before this whole like I have to win bit coming from Seth. I think we discussed the same thing. He has to win this match. Like prepare the audience now. You guys don't be upset. Like cuz this isn't for a belt or anything, but don't be upset, but he has to win this match. There's no other way that this can go. But after that, after this little vignette that they showed, we go backstage where the Vision is standing about and Becky is losing her shit.
Oh,
Um,
God, she was going off.
she is losing her shit about losing to Maxine, and she's gonna cancel going to Perth. She's going to she needs some time off. Like the people don't deserve her. Like this is an injustice. She's the best in the world. It's not just her saying that. Like this was
Yep.
not okay.
Yep.
The
And that
whole
the
time.
WWE, she ain't coming back till they get better referees.
Yeah, yeah, oh god, yeah, and the referee, the woman is out to get her. Like, nah, I don't blame her on that because the ref really did fast count. But it's not like she didn't deserve it, okay? Like she'd been picking on this woman and taunting her the whole match. So, screw you, Becky. But yeah, she was not having it. And then she storms off, and the whole time I don't know if Seth heard one word she said because he seemed so disinterested in what she was saying and so focused on his watch. He must have got a new iWatch or whatever it is that the kids are calling them nowadays. He got himself a new Apple Watch and apples. He got
I
himself a
mean,
cranberry watch.
it couldn't have
So
been that interesting. Every watch everywhere says Tiffy time.
well,
Except Tiffany's because she doesn't have one.
he got himself that new bagel watch. Every time you
Oh
hit a
no.
button, somebody gets a bagel. All right. Anyway, um, we're back there, and he's like Becky after she has a freak out, she storms off, and essentially we get to a part where Seth uh asks Paul what happens if he doesn't win against Cody.
Cody.
And Paul at first reluctantly doesn't want to answer, so he gives him but you're gonna win, repeatedly. And Seth's like, cut the bullshit. Like, tell me what give me your future oracle. It was a very Matrix situation. Um, and so Paul essentially says that everything's gonna fall apart. You don't win this match. Like the Vision, Bronson and Breaker are gonna be looking at you real freaking sus if you don't win against win against Cody. So he basically so like everybody's gonna be looking at you like, okay, this is probably the wrong person to follow. And Seth said, well, what about you? Essentially, he gets to the point where he asks Paul, what about you? Because you told me about everybody else. What about you? And Paul again tries to deflect, and Seth backhands him and says, "Don't give me that shit." I'm just playing. He does not backhand him, but he does tell him like, "Cut the shit." Like, what happens if I don't win? What happens with you? And Paul essentially says at some point I'm gonna have to ask myself why did I team up with you? And instead of Roman Reigns? Like, why didn't I stay with Roman? Like, why did I do all of what I did to end up with you if you can't, and Seth is like, oh shit, he gives him the angry Grinch face, and Paul walks out to. So that's how that little segment ends.
Yeah, and this drops all the consequences, like for the audience. Like this is how important it is. Like everything about Seth's vision. And this is the moment where, despite everyone else falling in line with Seth's vision, Seth has to do his part. Yeah. And missed opportunity, however, like as intense as this promo was, and maybe that's why they didn't do it, because it would have ended comedically, and I think they wanted it seriously, but it was a missed opportunity for Heyman to spit out all of that about what happens with Braun and Reed and, even himself, to not say, and that's not a spoiler, it's a prediction.
Yeah. That would have been good. Yeah. So,
but yeah, this definitely sold the intensity of the stakes that are on the line going into Crown Jewel.
Yeah. That led us into a backstage segment with Jey Uso complaining to Roman Reigns in the backstage area. Very upset that Jimmy was out there. Jey asked Jimmy if he was trying to protect Punk. He's asking him all kinds of crazy questions, and Jimmy can't get a word in edgewise. So he essentially, when Jey storms off, he yells after him that he's with him. Like Jimmy yells, "I'm with you," like I got your back, that kind of thing, which I feel there should be at no point in this, as far as they've come, there should be no point now that Jey would be questioning the loyalty of Jimmy, of all people. So I was like, okay, Jey is going through something. Maybe he needs a hug and some milk. I don't know, but he needs to calm down. So then when he does leave, Jimmy poses some questions to Roman. Or he essentially says that Roman is pulling strings and playing mind games with Jey. And he basically tells him that he sees that, he's like, you say you see everything, okay, well, I see stuff too. He points out that he sees what Roman is doing, and Roman tells Jimmy that he's not gonna listen to him right now, but he wants him to hear this. When Jey won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, he became more like Roman and less like Jimmy, because Jimmy was stating that Jey was nothing like Roman. And to which Roman somewhat smirked at and responded with that. And if Jimmy really wanted to help his brother, what he needs to do is move out of his way. And I thought, that's really good advice. Because if he sinks or swims, it'll be him. It'll be Jey. Either he will accomplish whatever it is he thinks he needs to do, or he's gonna fall hard and then not have that support, because he's pushed everybody out of the way. He's basically doing what Roman did. I wonder how he'll handle that,
Yep. I felt like this was really good because it doesn't make it so crystal clear. Like the easy out would be like, oh God, anything like Roman is evil. But they didn't go that route. They're saying, look, Roman knows what it takes to be on top and to stay on top. And if that's what Jey wants to do, and it seems he does, then Roman is the guy who knows how to get there. And, I feel like they've tried to say it, whether it causes offense or no offense to Jimmy at all, is that this isn't something that Jimmy would understand, is what they're trying to convey. And I don't know how different being on top as the world champion is to being the tag champion, but it's not like Jimmy has no experience being on top as a tag champion. But they're definitely conveying this idea that it's a whole different animal.
I think they're trying to point
when you want to be the world champ.
I think they're trying to point out the fact that one, you have somebody right there with you who is all you're sharing the limelight, you're sharing the pressure, you're sharing the power and everything that comes along with it. But when you are world champion by yourself, it's a lonely road. Like, there is no one else to be there to support you, to pat you on the back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's something that you got to go alone, and that's a hard concept, possibly for twins. So,
well, it's certainly a different concept in that it's lonely at the top necessarily, because to stay at the top, you apparently have to be willing to do and give up and sacrifice anything and everything for it. Like, it has to be the only thing, because everybody is gunning for you. Even the people that are rooting for you become a liability. And I think that's the concept that they're trying to convey, is that there's two sides to this coin. It's not just Roman bad. He's not just Roman Skeletor Reigns. He's not a cartoon villain here. And I really appreciate that level of kind of a nuance that they're trying to show here. Now, what I'm curious about is, which way are you going to go with it? Are you going to eventually show that one is worth more than the other? Because I'm pretty sure folks are waiting to see if Roman has any degree of remorse over what that sacrifice cost him.
Or is he like, I'm a standalone, Jay?
Or is the lesson going to be that it's all worth it? It's worth doing, even if it sucks. I like your Skeletor.
Can I get some Skeletor props? Okay.
Well done.
Where's my cocaine, He-Man?
Where's my cocaine? I can't be master of the universe unless I'm jacked up.
Jacked up.
But yeah, I definitely am curious to see which side of this coin they decide to land on, because is Roman going to realize that he can't do it alone and he really does need his family? Or are you going to convey that if you want to be on top, you have to be willing to give up everything? And is there some middle ground that it is possible to walk? So I'm curious to see what the outcome is here. I think that's what's making this entirely very intriguing, is that it's not that clear. Like, you do have to sacrifice if you want to be the absolute best and sit at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
So this is a very nice, complex story arc. And so I very much appreciate the nuance, and I'm deeply interested in seeing how it turns out.
Yeah. I too am interested. Great storyline.
Indeed.
That leads us into the fourth match of the night, which is the first match for the men. It was AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, and Penta. Surprise, Penta. Versus the Judgment Day in a 6-man tag team match. The Judgment Day being Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dominic Mysterio.
If I may, mind if I lead off with my thoughts on this match?
Please, absolutely. I mean, no, not absolutely. I don't mind. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, my bad. No, the Judgment Day very nearly gets squashed here. I feel like Team AJ, which is how I'll just summarize AJ, Dragon Lee, and Penta, pretty much kicks the Judgment Day's ass soundly for most of this match.
Yeah.
There's lots of high flying from Team AJ, especially like right at the beginning. It's just a high flyer segment as they each take turns jumping out of the ring on different Judgment Day members.
Yeah.
And it just proceeds to be a raffle stomp on the Judgment Day, where like the Judgment Day is in control. I'm sorry, not the Judgment Day, but Team AJ is in control for 90% of this match. And as we head near the closing portion of the match, Dom is in the ring with AJ, and there's a little bit of back and forth until Dom sees Rusev charging to the ring, and he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." And he immediately rushes over and like tags in JD McDonough, who was not ready for a tag, hops out of the ring, grabs his titles, and he's not quite quick enough to fully get away from Rusev, who gets him kind of like in a choke, like up near the announce desk while Dom is holding on to his titles. And then Penta delivers a super kick that Dominic Mysterio ducks out of the way from. I'm pretty sure Penta was aiming it at Dominic Mysterio, but he absolutely drills Rusev with it. And that allows Dom to take out running and hop over the barricade and just peace out. He bails. He's done.
I am certain that there's going to be a there's going to be a match between those two, between Penta and Rusev, because of that kick. And I guess keep Rusev busy, but I foresee a reckoning. And of course from JD McDonough on Dominic Mysterio too, for just tagging him in and then abandoning. And Finn, they're gonna be like, what the fuck? But
I think Finn and JD will definitely be like, dude, what gives you bailed on us? Because they've been showing that. That's been kind of the storyline, is that he keeps bailing or not helping the Judgment Day.
Yeah. But I agree with you. This was a ruffle stomp. They got it just felt like they were, I don't know, like overpowered, like I don't even know, but they just kept getting their asses kicked. And I mean, it's AJ and Penta and Dragon Lee, who has been quite impressive as of late. So I mean, he just had to turn it up. He had to match everybody else's energy. Because AJ is a real one. You know what I mean? And Penta, of course, I've been a fan of Penta's ever since I knew that Penta existed. Ever since I've discovered his existence, I've been a Penta fan. So this was a great match. This was probably the funny thing. The funny thing is, this is probably the least my least favoriteest match of the night. Like, this is probably like the weakest match to me. And that's not
for in-ring action.
Yeah, for in-ring. Like, it was not bad at all. Okay, there was nothing horrible happening in this match. It was a good match. But it was probably my least favorite, because there was just so much other stuff happening. So many other matches that had like really heavy storylines that I'm very much now invested in. That this match just kind of felt like a throwaway, just like a little fun match to have here.
Yeah. This was the fun match.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably the lowest on that scale for the matches that took place tonight. But still a good match. Like, that's not me dogging this match at all. It was still good. And needless to say, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, and Penta won definitively. I mean, they just fucking stomped ass.
Yes. Just to kind of cover how it closed out, shortly after JD got forcibly tagged back into the ring, Styles basically bodies him and then deadlifts him feet first into the position for a Styles clash, drills him with it, and that's it. It's done.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is really worth noting here, two things really. One, I absolutely appreciated and found amusing that all three of Team AJ tried to do the Penta strut, and AJ tried his best.
Yeah. Oh, bless his heart.
Like zero hip movement involved for him. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
And then of course after the match, AJ, who was interrupted at the beginning by Dominic Mysterio, finally gets to say what he wanted to say, and that was to promote and hype up his match upcoming with John Cena at Crown Jewel in Perth.
Yeah. And he mentioned that it will kick ass.
Kick ass.
Ass. And I believe him. I believe that it will kick ass. I believe it. But that leads us into the fifth match of the night. Now it does so with CM Punk and LA Knight, like they're in the backstage and they're in agreement that they don't want to do this match. And LA Knight, all he wants in the match is for Punk to not get himself pinned. That's it. Like, and then he walks out. I'm assuming preparing for the match. Before that, we are told that next week, Bailey and Lyra are going to go against the Judgment Day, which is, of course, Raquel and Roxy. And we also find out that Dominic Mysterio is going to be putting his WWE Intercontinental Championship on the line against Penta. And I can tell you now that I am positive Rusev will intervene in that match.
Yep, and I foresee that furthering like some bad blood between Penta and Rusev, which kind of started here this evening.
Yeah, he's either going to intervene, like he's either going to come out there to attack Penta, or he's going to come out there to attack Dominic Mysterio and somehow cost Penta the match, and that's going to be like the last straw for Penta, since he did interfere in the last match that he had. So either way it goes, there's going to be some interference, and that's going to lead us into some matches between Penta and Rusev, which I am not looking forward to, because I just feel like Rusev is just going to slow Penta down. But we will see. We will see.
Indeed.
Yeah. Now, all that finally leads us into our fifth match of the night, which is CM Punk and LA Knight versus the Usos. What did you think of this match?
I thought it was good. I remember that neither of these two teams seem to be on the page. Like Punk and Knight have no love for each other, and that much is clear. No. And we see some discord with the Usos in that their entrance plays for a little while, and they we're going, well, are they going to show up? Like they weren't coming out, and then they finally did, and it's like, oh, okay, good. And I'm like, well, maybe that was intentional to show that they're having trouble getting on the same page. But I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed watching Punk and Knight show their discord by violently back chopping one another as their tags.
Yeah.
And clearly, Jimmy and Jay aren't quite coordinated. They're not as openly hostile as Punk and Knight are to each other, but they're not on the same page.
Yeah.
And so I thought this was a good match. Most of the rest of what I would say talks about how it ended. Eventually, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, feel free to talk about how it ended, because you know what I'm gonna say about the match. So please continue.
Yeah. Eventually, Punk is able to get into the ring after a series of unfortunate events, including Jimmy eating a BFT and accidentally getting run into Jay. Jay gets hit with the go to sleep, but Punk, who's worn out a bit at this point in time, sort of loses his balance and collapses into his team's corner, because it all happened kind of over in that area. And Knight, who had been previously thrown out of the ring, quickly tags himself into the match and steals the pinfall right in front of Punk, who is just looking at him like, "You son of a bitch." And so it shows that in all of the discord and the chaos, Knight can pick up the win. And afterwards, he smugly hurries back up the entrance ramp, just talking mad shit the entire time and pointing at Punk like, "Yeah." And Punk is left in the ring, looking incredulous, and Jay is left in the ring still just dead from the GTS. And I felt like this was really good to see because it furthers the stories of the challengers for Seth's title instead of another main event battle with the minions of the Vision. And it shows that none of these guys are allies. None of them are on the same page.
Yeah.
And I also felt like it did well without going over the top to show that there's growing discord between Jimmy and Jay. Like here it was less overt than Punk and Knight's open contempt for one another. It was more of they are not in sync. And that they're, it's starting to fall apart for them. And so that's my thoughts on this match. What were yours?
Yeah. I thought that they got right back into good storytelling for this episode. Where there wasn't much storytelling with the 6-man tag team match. There was plenty for this one. Even here, Jimmy took Roman's advice and Jay pretty much sank that battleship. But the storyline of the story here between all four of them, really the dynamic between the two twins here, but then also the story between LA Knight and all three of these other men, and then CM Punk with LA Knight. Like the stories here are very layered. It gives LA Knight something really, really good to focus on. It gives all of them actually something really good to focus on. And it was yeah, I think it was probably one of the better matches of the night as far as not only having a really good storyline but executing the moves well in the ring. Like it was just full of drama. It was full of wrestling drama. That's what I'm gonna call it now. Wrestle drama. And I loved it. I was here for it. I am now invested in the storyline here to see how this plays out. I know that none of these men will be getting the belt anytime soon because it's on Seth, and the storyline there requires it for now. But the dynamic between all four of these gentlemen, and just like the little small intricate storylines between each, I'm here for. That's really good. So yeah, I thought this was a really good overall match. It was one of the better ones, and probably the best as far as like the men's the men's matches were concerned.
Yeah, out of the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, out of the two, that was the better one.
I can dig that.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's.
Well, and that is how we ended up closing Monday Night Raw, was with them following LA Knight as he was on the entrance ramp talking mad shit.
Yeah.
So that being said, what would your final review of this episode of Raw be?
I'd give this one an 8. It kept me entertained and interested in the stories. From beginning to end, 8, if not an 8.5. It was really good. Maybe 8.5 is too much. I'll go with 8. Yeah, 8 was good. It was good. 8 neck nubs.
8 neck nubs. So top tier.
Yeah, top tier for sure.
All right, nice. Well, from my part, I felt like all of the matches, all of the promos were all firing on all cylinders. I was pleasantly surprised by the performance of Maxine Dupree in her mid-card match with Becky Lynch. And I felt like this was, to repeat myself, Lynch taking a page from how Sami Zayn is using his U.S. title reign on SmackDown to showcase matches with the mid-card talent. I also appreciated the storyline advancement for Roman and the Usos, Bayley and Lyra, and the promotion of the matches heading into Crown Jewel. There's a few of those that I was ambivalent about that I'm now more excited for. So this also gets an 8 neck nubs from me and is top tier. This episode fired on all cylinders for all of the things it was trying and needing to do. The matches were good, the promos were good, the storylines were advanced, and hype was generated for the upcoming Crown Jewel in Perth PLE. So yeah, top tier.
Yeah.
That said, that brings us to the end of our review of WWE's Raw, and I want to thank everybody who joined us this episode, and I invite you to join us for our upcoming episode, which we're still determining because this coming weekend is Crown Jewel in Perth. So stay tuned to find out if we'll be covering SmackDown and Raw or if it will just be Crown Jewel. But you'll definitely hear from us with this big upcoming wrestling weekend for sure.
Yeah.
That said, I don't think there's much left for me to do but roll the outro.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Top Tier Wrestling. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the latest WWE news and shows. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as our YouTube channel where we upload all of our episodes. You can also follow us on Instagram and X for updates and to join the conversation. Until next time, everyone, remember, wrestling is always better when it's top tier.